Presents the Canadian tradition.
Well, on this week's episode, we're back in the province of Ontario trying to capitalize on two great late season opportunities, a diver duck hunt and a big mature whitetail. Being able to have the opportunity to hunt these diver ducks in Ontario is absolutely incredible. Here we are on the Great Lakes St. Lawrence Flyway, and the amount of birds that come through this area each and every fall is just absolutely mind-blowing. Being able to see those birds come in and raft up and all congregate, I mean, it is just duck hunting at its finest.
Taylor planned to factor in a late season diver duck hunt while we were doing some deer hunting as well, which is something I really look forward to. I'm passionate about waterfowl, and it's no secret that the Great Lakes St. Lawrence region attracts and holds a huge number of migrating waterfowl, especially diver ducks, especially late season. And that's something that's timed perfectly with our late season archery whitetail hunts.
When you're diver duck hunting, you've got to get it while the getting's good. These birds come in, they're here for a week or two, they're feeding up for their long migration flight, and one day you can be looking at thousands of birds, and the very next day, they could all be gone.
When waterfowl hunting, a big part of it really is location. And if you're on the X, you can keep it simple. You can stay with the basics. And that's sort of exactly what we did. There was a really strategic piece of shoreline that the birds were naturally gravitating towards. So it was a perfect spot to set up a shore blind, and really just one simple gang rig of decoys kind of leading to the pocket with a handful of individual decoys rounding out the spread is all it takes if you're in the right location.
Go. Okay, let's get in the boat and get him. Where we were set up, we were able to do this quite efficiently. What we were really trying to go after were those pairs, those singles, to get them to decoy in, come right over top of us, and I mean, the shots that were taken were right in our honey hole.
That was you.
Beautiful.
That's
yes,
good.
Adrian, how great is that? Those birds are working in perfect. They're seeing that line.
Boy, they started working the decoys.
That's awesome, pal.
Sweet.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Right here in Ontario, Great Lakes, St. Lawrence, just a fantastic diver duck hunt. These ones coming in out front, single, got him?
Yep.
Nice.
Nice Drake. Before long, it all started to come together. Really, the emphasis is not to flock shoot or target some of the bigger numbers that wheel in. We're really looking to strategically kind of take some drakes out of single, kind of smaller groups, pairs, singles, triples, and that's what it boiled down to. You've got to pick your shots, stay focused, communicate, fall back on your waterfowl ID principles, and clearly identify those big, beautiful drakes.
I lost them.
Me too. They're still coming. They're coming hard, actually.
Swing in here. Come on.
Man, they looked like they really wanted in, though.
Nice. Seeing how fierce these birds feed it this morning was just, I see this for maybe 5 to 6 days out of each calendar year. So it's really one of those things that early freeze up, early cold conditions, late falls really determine when those birds are going to make that big push south. And when you can time it and hit those 4, 5, 6 days, I mean, we're experiencing what that's like right now, and it's just been stellar. Here he comes.
Right there.
Okay, it's all yours, Adrian. Yeah. The single's all yours.
Get ready.
Nice,
Oh,
pal.
do you see that? Nice.
Nice.
Beautiful. All right,
We'll get the
let
boat.
me go get the boat here.
Well, I tell you, Adrian, I don't think you can get 2 finer specimens of greater Skok.
Oh, these are gorgeous.
Right here.
Yeah.
I mean, just the iconic blue bill and those mature drakes. That head's got iridescent colors from purple to green to blue to just dark black. Just fantastic. And when they come into the decoy and they kind of flare, all you see
that
is
white belly.
that black throat right into that belly.
Oh, they're a nice big duck, absolutely.
And we're taking home some beautiful bluebills right here, Great Lakes, St. Lawrence. I tell you, the action doesn't get any better than that, pal.
It's been great. Look at this one, landing right in the decoys. Oh,
Oh, you gotta let one go.
I know, exactly.
Wrapping up the duck hunt, I would say that we definitely accomplished what we headed out for. We were able to fill a beautiful limit of bluebills, and some of the wing shooting was just absolutely fantastic. It was time for us to pack up our decoys and really look forward to some late season hunting conditions.
Over the years, I've become a little familiar with some of Taylor's favorite stand setups. So when he told me that we were going to pursue a couple bucks he knew about in this one property of his, I was instantly excited because I really love that setup. And it just is that textbook sort of spot where large swaths of bedding area back onto all kinds of forage, and these deer have to corral themselves through small pinch points. We just gotta hunt hard, hunt smart, keep optimistic, and good things will happen.
When it comes to deer hunting, I'm a big believer in that any time is a good time to spend in the woods. A lot of the cases, when those seasons just start to open up, you can really pattern specific deer or key deer movement on a certain property. As that season progresses and you get into that rutting period, it's obviously a fantastic time to be in the woods because multiple bucks are on their feet. They're looking for active does or receptive does to continue with that breeding cycle. So it's great that you're going to see an increased amount of daytime activity, but one of the downfalls is you could have specific deer or deer on your property leave. And it's very common that in November during that rutting time, those bucks will go on, I call it rut runs. They're gonna look for a receptive doe, and they don't really pay attention to fence lines or property lines. So the specific deer that you might be targeting might be 3 or 4 properties over. One of the biggest keys in our success I've found is to hunt as soon as those late season conditions hit. This part of the country that we're in, usually that coincides with the beginning part of December. So when you can combine a few strategies, which is hunting key funnel areas, and here in Ontario, you can utilize bait. When you can get a buck that is close to cover, has a food source that he knows he's going to need to build back that body reserve, it creates some fantastic hunting opportunities just because those bucks become a little bit more patternable, at least for this small window at the beginning of December.
We just got clipped in. Beautiful looking spot. Things didn't pick up immediately. You know, we sat there and, you know, I'd say maybe half an hour went by and we hadn't seen hide nor hair of any whitetail. And so Taylor and I kind of wondered maybe we did spook them all out, and even if we sit here for hours, it's just, we made too much of a disturbance breaking in. Trail camera said one of our target bucks was here yesterday. That thought process was rudely interrupted by the sound of breaking ice and hooves hitting the ground. The way we were set up in the tree, Taylor was to my left. It's a big tree that kind of forks and we're each on one side. So I, of course, hear this disturbance, turn to my left. All I can see is the tree and Taylor who I'm hoping can give me a play-by-play breakdown, because clearly there's deer approaching. Taylor gets all fired up, looks over his shoulder and tells me, there's a buck. He looks really nice. Oh my goodness, that sneaky peek. Get ready. I can hear him. I can hear him. He's coming. He's coming. I can't move. I can't move. Okay, are you ready? Here he comes. Here he comes. The wind was perfect, and before long he started to swoop in front of us, and at 12 yards he presented himself beautifully. Perfect broadside, nothing in the way. I checked with Taylor that he was on him. He said he was. I let that arrow fly. Man, we did it. Jeez, it was like 10 or 12 yards. 3 seasons, this is the first time I've actually let an arrow loose, and when I saw it hit the vital zone, I just knew that it looked like a really great hit. Taylor and I high-fived, made a plan, sat there quietly for 15 minutes, and chose to back out. Let's see if we can find the arrow. As if the arrow's right here. You know, it's a cold morning when everything's frozen on that arrow. But good deployment. I can start to see a few drips right here. He went this way, so. Oh, it's all in the grass here. Before long, we did find a meager blood trail, but it was very consistent, and drop by drop, it led us to this beautiful buck. Oh, what a brute. Can you say wide? I mean, look at that deer, holy smokes. Finally just came together. You know, all we needed was a little bit of luck. It was our turn this morning, and we've got history with this big old deer. This is a buck we named Sneaky Pete, and he's 8 or 9.5 years old at this point. And we were scared we'd never see him again, and he just sort of showed up on the cameras. Spy Point really gave us a hot tip that he'd finally moved back into this area. I mean, there's no denying his age. I mean, just look at this beautiful grizzling, the big Roman nose, that short jaw and just deep jowls. I mean, that is an old buck on his way out, like a perfect deer to take, you know, and to have him roll in at 12 yards. I mean, we ranged it right after the shot. I couldn't move. He had me pinned when he rolled in there. We're hunting the late season here in Ontario. We're accustomed to snow and cold, and we've got neither. So it's just been a challenge getting some consistent movement, getting big, old, mature bucks like this to really get up on their feet in daylight hours. So I'm definitely considering myself lucky. I mean, to get something like this in archery range, let alone 12 yards, when you got your buddy sitting next to you with a video camera, the choice is simple. You know, we've been selective, passed up lots of younger deer. You know, to wrap my tag around this buck specifically, I mean, what a deer, what a story. But it came together today, buddy. I want to thank you very much. That's awesome. Appreciate it very much.
Looking back on this week's trip, I mean, what can I say? It's late season at its finest. Snow burned off, Adrian took a deer in still late season conditions, but you gotta make it work. And that's one of the great things I enjoy about hunting with Adrian is rain or shine, warm or cold. He knows just as well as I know, you have to log those hours. We're going home to spend some time with family, and we've got a lot of great tasting, protein, venison meat that we can share.